Good morning, everybody. Welcome to watching me knit. Um, it's a little bit of a different day. Not going to go into details, but I may have to either pause or break at certain times if I get a certain phone call or whatnot. Something's happened in the family, and that's all I'm going to say. Anyways, just wanted to show you how far I've gotten so far on the sweater. I was going to go to 8 inches, and I think I'm at 8 inches now. So let's measure and see. Tossing around the idea of possibly going maybe 10 inches or maybe doing in between and do 9 inches just so it's a little longer, goes a little further down the waist. We'll see. So looks like I'm about 8 inches. So maybe do a few more rows, and I'll measure again because it was just a little bit under the 8 inches. And then I found my extra yarn for fixing that one other sweater. But I'm going to do a couple rows of this first for a little bit. Oh, hi, Kata, you're here. Okay, good, good. How about we switch to your questions then? Let's see if I can help you with that. I haven't done a button band like that before, but I did look up some videos, and I can send those to you in a link on Ravelry if you want. So I did a little sample of, say, the back piece or whatever, just doing a couple rows of the ribbing and then just the straight stocking knit. And your first question was, what does purl 2 together through the back loop mean? So that's what P2 TOG TBL. So 2 together through back loop. It's basically a purl decrease, and instead of just purl 2 together to do it, doing it through the back loop makes it lean to the left, if I remember right. Where the purl 2 together I think goes to the right, so that way you get the different angles. So for the pattern, I believe this is the pattern. See how it angles here? Where's my mouse? There it is. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but see how the angles are there for the raglan part? See how it angles? So that angles to the left or to the right of the decreasing. So that's what this is doing. So let me switch back to camera. Okay, so to do that, I had to look it up because it's been a while since I've done that one. So we're going to purl. I'm just going to go a couple in like I normally would. I'm not going to follow the pattern for that part because I'm sure you can figure out if it says purl 1 then purl 2, whatever. But so the purl 2 together through the back loop. The back loops are these here. Can you see okay? So these would be considered the front loops. And to purl through the back loops, you start here. Oh, come on, focus, focus. Okay. Go in and get both of them there. And you have your yarn in front. And you see how I'm twisting it like this and going to the front so I can purl the 2 together. and then you take them off. I'll show it again. Okay? So the yarn is again in front because you're purling. You go in from the back loops. It's not easy, it's kind of awkward. Get your needle in there. I'm a little tight, sorry. It's been a stressful weekend so far. So you got it like this, and then purl through, and there you go. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. Do you want me to show again? So, back loop, here, back loops, pick up the stitches, bring the needle to the front so you could purl. Okay, I'll do 2 more. So again, you got your yarn in the front because you're purling. You want to pick up the stitches from the back side, like this. Move your needle to the front and then purl like you normally would. And I got enough to do 1 more. So, pick up from the back, I hate it when I knit tight. Pick it up from the back, wrap it around like you do for purling, and pull it through. Yes, it is weird, but it does make it slant the correct way. That's why they're doing it, is so you get the different slanting that you need to shape the for the sleeves. I'm just going to purl these. But if you look, see how the stitches are slanting? You got this one slants. See how it slants to the left? I hope that makes sense. Let me do a row real quick. Actually, I'm going to do 2 rows because I'm going to put some stitches back in here. I'm going to have eyelets, but that's okay. This is just a sample knitting anyways. There. See, now you got now you got eyelets, but it kind of actually emphasizes a little bit more the slant. And then I'm going to do the other regular, well, I'm going to do another row because I don't want to get away from those eyelets. Oh wait, I'm purling. I'm supposed to purl this row. I'm sorry, I'm like out of it today. Okay. Okay, think I might do another 2 rows, another knit and purl row, just to get some space in between. Okay, wow, those are big loops in there, right there. Whoopsie. Let me see something real quick. Alright, on the pattern, it says, yeah, see? Oh, kind of hard to see, but it says purl 2 together at the beginning, and then it does through the back loop, purl 2 together through the back loop. So you're getting the 2 different angles. So I showed you the back loop. I'm going to do purls, the regular one, and I'm going to show the difference between the slanting, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense today. So this is your regular purl 2 together. So you just pick up the 2 like you're going to purl and just purl them together. Again, pick up the 2, purl them together. Pick up the 2, purl together. Pick up the 2, purl together, and one more. And then I'm gonna do a couple more rows just to get some space in there. I'm gonna add those stitches back in. Sorry, I'm probably going out of the camera. I apologize. Oops. I was going to add stitches back in. Told you I'm not with it today. I apologize. It's been a bad weekend. And here we go. And then I'll do another row, purl back, so I'm not working with the yarn overs. Okay, so let's look at this real quick. So these are the ones that were through the back loop. See how they go to the left? Hope you could see this okay. I tried to do light yarn so you could see it better. See how they slant to the left? That's through the back loop one. And then here is your regular 2 together. See how it slants to the right? Do you see the difference? Okay. Yeah, I don't enjoy doing through the back loop one, especially when I'm having a bad week and or bad time and I'm stressed and I knit really tight. So the week was good. This weekend was, well, yesterday and this morning was not good, but that's okay. I really can't talk about it right now. So the back loop is left and normal purl 2 is right. Yes. That's why you're doing it through the back loop, because you need to get that different shape in there. Just like when you purl or when you're knitting and you knit 2 together and then the other direction you do slip slip knit so it goes the other angle. This is the purl version of it. Does that make sense? Learn something new every day, right? It's always good to continue learning. That's what I always say. There's always something to learn. So I'm going to knit across so my yarn isn't on this end. You know how to bind off, correct? Okay, so where's my needle? I'm just going to put it on waste yarn for the moment. So then I can try and do your next question was the button and buttonhole band section. I never done a button band before, but I did watch a video. I'll send you the link of the video that I did watch in Ravelry. But I'm going to attempt it from what I saw here. Kind of. Do you want me to show you real quick how to do the bind off? I can do that instead of putting it on waste yarn. That wouldn't be a problem. Yeah, why don't we do that? Ah, don't lose the stitch. Okay. Alright. So, binding off is, in this example, I mean, sometimes patterns tell you a certain way to do it. Like you bind off in pattern, or you bind off always in purl or in knit. The pattern will tell you how to bind off. And if it doesn't, then you just do it your normal standard, and that's what I'm going to show you. So I'm on the purl side, so I'm going to bind off doing purl stitches. But you could bind off doing knit stitches if the pattern calls for it, like I said. So you do the first stitch as normal. And then you do the next one as normal. And then you take the first stitch you just did and put it over the other one. So you end up with just one stitch. Okay? So again, oops, I split the yarn. There we go. It's caught again. Ugh. Okay. I never said I was an expert. So you pick up this other stitch here and you'd go over the other stitch. And you try to be somewhat loose at this because otherwise it can make it really tight. The bind off can be really tight if you do too tight. So I always try to do loose because I'm usually a tight bind off person. So you just purl And then take the one before it off. You always end up with just a 1 on that needle. Oh, thank you. That's kind. Okay. And then the last stitch. It's cut. There we go. Okay. Oh, I went kind of sloppy, didn't I? Anyways. So, see, if you bind off on the purl side, you get a nice little effect that way. But it all depends on what the pattern says to do, and I think I put extra yarn overs in there. Oopsie. So okay, so for the buttonhole, it says doing a certain stitch pattern, which it has here, rows 1 and row 2, and then it says sewing in place as you knit, and that's what I can show you. It tells you want the buttons on one side if it's for a her, and the other side if it's for a him, and that's what they're saying here. So you go up the left front for her or the right front for him. So so the pattern is knit 2, and then it's a purl 1, knit 1 across. Now I have more than 9 stitches. No, I'm going to cast on 9. Never mind. I had more than 9 stitches on this. Sorry. Again, I'm a little out of it. Okay. Hopefully this is a different enough color. No, not on the camera. It isn't. Let me try a different color. I don't want anything dark though. That's the problem. This isn't the same width of yarn. It's kind of dark though. Yeah. I love it when you pull it out of the center of the skein and it gets all knotted up. Such a wonderful thing. Alright. So I'm going to cast on, it says cast on 9 stitches, so I'm just going to do long tail cast on. It doesn't tell you what type of cast on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright. I think I did that backwards. Alrighty then. Well.
What? Yeah?
Well, it doesn't tell you. It since you just cast on, and then the right side. You're already on the right side when you do a cast on, aren't you? Because wouldn't that be the purl side? Okay. Well, you're supposed to join. Well, you need 9. Well, I guess we'll just do what it says. Cast on 9. And then have faith in the pattern. Knit 2. 1, 2, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, and then purl 1 and knit 1, because it was supposed to be 3 times of doing that pattern repeat. And then this one's a knit 1, but we got to knit together with the one on here. And it curls, so we have to kind of uncurl it. So I guess this would be the beginning one here. We'll just go here. So you see how it's kind of got a V here? You want this back loop, not the front loop, but the back loop. And then basically what you're supposed to do is then pick this up. This is what she did in the video. Put the 2 together and then you knit like you would but 2 together. And I split that stitch. Okay. Well, that looks nasty. Okay. And then, so that part's done. Knit 1, and then purl 1, knit 1 4 times. So now we knit this, and then purl 1, knit 1 4 times. Purl 1, knit 1. This is kind of awkward, at least the beginning. Purl 1, knit 1. I notice patterns never say bind off tight or loose. Do I always do it loose? It depends. I mean, if you're a really loose knitter, I would just say just bind off normal. I sometimes can knit tight, and bind off I know I tend to tighten it up, so I try to do it loose. Try to force myself. Yes, it is confusing. So, purl, knit, purl, and knit. Okay. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I got turned around. I think it'll get better the further up I go. It's just because it's so at the beginning, it's really confusing. So, so we repeat rows 1 and 2 for the length that you need to go. it's knit 2, 1, 2, and then purl 1, knit 1 3 times. Purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and then knit 1. And then to do this part, you do this as to knit, and then again you gotta get that back loop.
Love you, babe.
Love you, sweetie. The back loop. Put those back on and then knit. But you gotta knit them together. And then turn it around. And knit 1. And then purl knit all the way across. I hope you could see what I'm doing. Okay. Alright, and knit 2. I'll do it a couple more times. Purl knit. Purl knit. Hey Coco. Purl knit. And then slip this as to knit. And then pick up the back one. Put the 2 back onto this needle and knit. So it actually attaches them. Okay. Oh good. I'm glad you see. Okay. Knit. Purl knit across. Okay. And then again, knit 2, and then purl knit. To the last one. Did I mess up? Knit, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Oop, I did do it wrong. No, purl 2, purl knit, purl knit, purl knit. Okay, I got it. All right, sorry. Slip is to knit, and then pick up the back one. There we go. Does that make sense? Do you need me to do some more? Like I said, as soon as I log off, I'll, So what is this? This is the button band here. And this is the back piece or the sides that you sew the button band to. Not the back piece, but the front or left side. And then, so the button band, you just do a regular button band, and then it says to place markers on the band for 5 buttons, having the bottom button a ½ inch above the cast on edge. So if you've got stitch markers, what I would do is once you get the one side done, I would then go, it says a ½ inch or 1 centimeter above the cast on edge. So, well, here, it's easier to see the ½ inch there. So I would then put a stitch marker here, and then it says the top button and ½ inch from the top of where you would do the buttons. Mark it there, and then you space out the 3 buttons left over of the 5 in between evenly. And once you mark them on this side, then you can do the button, line it up, and do the buttonholes where you have them marked on here, where they would line up. Does that make sense? So, in the picture, this button is about a ½ inch from the cast on edge. And then you would do one from up here, where you know the beginning is for the top button, about a ½ inch from there you would have the button. And then the remaining 3 you just try to see how much space is in between and divide by 3 so you know where to place the 3 buttons, kind of evenly space them out. So you mark them on the one side, and then you come around, and when you get to here you line it up again and you find out where you're going to place your buttonholes. So mark the sides before you start doing the band with another marker that lines up with the other one, and then you do your button bands where those are marked, or your buttonholes where those are marked, and they should line up. And then where you have them marked on this side, that's where you would sew the buttons. So you do the band on the one side, you mark where you're going to put the buttons, and then you do the buttonholes. I guess on his version you rib for 4, cast off 2, and rib to the end of the row, and for hers you do rib for 3, cast off 2, and rib to the end of the row. I don't know what the difference is between his or hers for that number, but that's what the pattern says. That's for the first row, and then the second row you're basically going to go over those cast off ones, and where you casted those off, you're going to add 2 stitches back. So you still end up with the same number of stitches. It's just you cast off 2, and then on the way back you add 2 back in the same spot. I hope that makes sense. Okay, got it. Coco, you have to sit right where I see the chat? Really? I gotta read it. Hold on. Okay. Okay, got it. So I'm making like a band with holes in it. Yes, so the first side you're just making the actual band that the buttons would be sewn onto. Then you mark where those buttons are going to go. And then you mark on the other side where those would line up, and so you could figure out where to put the button holes. So when you do the band all the way around the neck and work your way down, you know where to put the button holes. And then they'll line up. Oh, add stitches. You could do it a couple different ways. So here, let me get to let me just start over with, I'm going to take this off, and I'll just start with another swatch. I'm all tangled up. Okay. Coco, you're snoring. So let me just get a couple rows going, and then I can show you. So, well, I probably should do more than 5. Okay, so I got 8 on there, just for giggles. So what you do is you would, oh wait, I'm going to do a couple rows like I said. I'm getting sidetracked. Now, like I said before, when you bind off those 2 stitches, you would bind them off, I'm assuming normally, not in pattern. You would just bind off when it tells you to bind off, like you normally would. I don't think it says, yeah, it just says cast off. So cast off, bind off, that's the same thing. So in this instance, I'm doing stocking knit. So I'm just going to do bind off while I'm doing a knit. Coco, no. Leave it alone. No, that's not to play with. Please. So I'm going to do 2. Well, I'll do 3. I think that will work out. So to bind off, I'd knit 1, knit another, bind this one off. Did I split it? No. Okay. Knit another one, bind it off. So now I have 2 bound off. So I'm down 2 stitches from what it was, but it makes an opening for the buttons. Does that make sense? And then to add the stitches back, I get to where the opening is. 1, 2, 3. You can do one of two ways, I think. You can, well, it doesn't say, does it? So cast off is the one row, and cast on. It doesn't say how to cast them on, does it? In the beginning, it just says cast on. Okay. So, I mean, you could wrap it twice. That'll give you 2 more stitches there. You could do the, stop eating, no, come on, cast on this way. That might be better than just yarn overs. And then you would continue on. So I think that might be a better way than just a yarn over. And then I'll go another couple rows, and then hey, come on. So when you get back to those stitches, those new ones, they can be tricky to pick back up sometimes because they're just wrapped on there. And then pull it up so you can grab it, and then go. And that creates the opening for you. Okay, so I'll do it one more time. I'm going to go a couple rows first so I can get some space in between the buttonholes. Nope, I'm still purling. Why am I doing that? Now remember, when you're doing this, you also, adding on, you're picking up that one stitch and knitting it together, so you're sewing it as you go along the way. Okay. Now purl back, and then I'll do another example. Wasn't yesterday the first day of spring, at least for here in the States? Oh, this weekend kind of blurs right now. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then I start my cast off. So knit one, knit another, pull it over, knit again, pull it over. So cast off the 2, and then finish up the row. And then coming back, 1, 2, 3, and then now I gotta do the cast on. I tend to make these too loose, and then I end up with like string in between. So, but it all depends on how you do them. I get them tight here, but then when I go to actually knit them back, they are loose. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And then you just knit them as usual. Am I splitting? No. Okay, good. Okay. I'll pull back and I'll show you what it looks like again. Oh, no problem. I don't mind, even if it's something I don't know. Learning something new is always good, right? Keeps the mind active. There we go. I know it's dark, but you can see the buttonhole there. Okay, I hope that helps. Okay. And yes, and if it disappears from my Twitch channel after a couple weeks, I transfer everything over to my YouTube channel. And you could just go to YouTube and search Ambrosia Blue knitting. You got to add the knitting because there's a couple different Ambrosia Blues out there, I've noticed. But if you do put knitting with it, it should come up. And all of my past ones that are no longer on Twitch are now on my YouTube channel. Okay? Those look like tiny holes, so what button size would be like a small or a medium button? Did the pattern tell you what size button? Because usually they will tell you the size buttons. 3 stitch holders and 5 buttons. Well, that's real helpful. They don't tell you the size of buttons? Well, isn't that special? Let's see. Okay, so I still had the button holes here, so let me see if I can find some buttons and we'll see what size fits in there. Let's see. Okay. That be too big? Oh, I think that, I mean, it would work, but I think it'd be too big. So something smaller than that. That's the same size. That's the same size. Something smaller. Come on. Okay, that one's a little smaller. Yeah, I think that'll work good. Because you don't want it to be too small, because then it will just go right back through the hole again. You want it to be a little snug going through the hole. But I think that'll be good. Size is this one. Where's my measuring tape? All right. So, well, let's see. You're the metric system, correct? I believe. So, one, 2, 3, wait, 1. Just under 2 centimeters, if I'm reading that right. Ah, come on, focus. Starting from the 3, and it's going a little bit past the 5. Focus, focus. So 2 past the 5, so that'd be 10, 22 millimeters? I'm terrible with that. So there'd be 2 centimeters and a little bit past, or 22 millimeters, 22, 23. Or if you see it like on Amazon or something like that, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 7/8 of an inch, if that makes sense. Depending on where you're shopping, how they list it. So yeah, about 2 centimeters. That should be good. Again, just do like I did, and when you get your buttons, just to make sure that they're a little snug going through. Because otherwise, if they're too small, they'll just slip right back through the hole. Does that help? I'm surprised they didn't say on the pattern what size. I'm almost at 8 inches on the sweater here. I think it's like not even a half an inch left to go. Yeah, about half an inch. So I just didn't know what to do with the button size. Just sometimes the patterns assume you know what you're doing. Yeah, that's true. I like it when they tell you what size to use. It's very helpful. So doing 8 inches puts it right at the waist. And I've been toying with the idea of making it be 9 inches, so it goes just a little bit further down, so that way when you sit down and stuff, it maybe doesn't ride up in the back or whatever. Does that make sense? So I'm thinking I might go to actually 9 inches on this. But I'm so close. So close. And I just got to do the sleeves. And then do the hood. So close. So I hope that helped you and I answered your questions. If you have any other questions, just let me know. I might end early or end for today. Do you have any other questions? If you don't right now, but you come up with some, just do like you did in Ravelry and send me some questions. Yes, the 9th of October. Yes. Good. I'm glad it helps. I'm glad I was able to help you. If you have any more questions, just let me know. You're the 6th. Ha! Nice. Nice. I think it's funny. My birthday's the 8th of February. His is the 9th of October. I just think it's kind of neat that I'm the 8th and he's the 9th. Different months, but you know. But he's also born on the same day as my grandpa. So. On page 6. Okay. What's your question? Did I miss it in the message? cute. So he's February and you're October and I'm February and my husband's October. That's cute. What's up with the numbers? Which numbers? The colored ones? Those are all the different sizes. So looking at the first page, each color is a different size. So that represents the different sizes here. Is that what you were asking? Okay. Not this page? Or are you meaning on this page? Oh, that's 6. Okay. I was on the wrong page. Wow. So here, this page? Okay. So these numbers, again, based on the different sizes that you can knit this pattern in. This just shows you that from this point to here, so from cast on to cast off, that's how many inches it will be in length, or centimeters. I can't remember if this is listed as inches or centimeters. And my guess is that this is his version and this is her version. Numbers don't match up. I'm not sure what you mean. They don't add up? So like on the sleeve, this is 2.5 inches here. Then from the ribbing, so the ribbing's 2.5. From the ribbing to the where you start doing your decreases, that's this measurement. And then the amount of decreases till you bind off or cast off, whatever, that's your measurement there. This here is the total amount of inches from, say, from here straight up to the center. But this and this might not add up to this because this is at an angle. This one is just from, say, the bottom to the top. Does that make sense? Okay. So this is just a schematic so you get an idea of what the different pieces look like. So you've got the one back, you'll have two fronts. So you'll have the right side and the left side. And then you'll have the sleeves. And then you'll sew the sleeve seams, those two sides together, obviously to form around the sleeve. Oh, French. I don't speak French and I don't read French, so I just looked at numbers and I assumed it's inches. I'm assuming it's all inches. Yeah, so they reference inches first and then they go centimeters. And since there's two sets of numbers, it's probably his version and then her version is the smaller ones. And then you would sew the seams here would attach to the seam here or the seam here. And then this seam here would go to this seam and this one would go to the other version of this one. Does that make sense? And the reason why this overhangs like that is because this is ribbing, so it's just to show you that if it's stretched out, it would be the same number of stitches, but it's going to be smaller. Okay, good. I'm glad I could help. Anything else? Any other questions? You need to take pictures and put it on your project page so I can see how the sweater is coming along. I'd like to see. Well, I'm just glad I could help. That makes my day, knowing that I can help somebody. It really does. You can ask anytime. Like I said before, if I don't know the answer, I will do my best to look it up and figure it out. There is a group in Ravelry that I know a lot of the ladies in there are very good knitters, and they've answered a lot of my questions in the past. Let's see if I could find the group name. Let me see if I could switch. Let's see. This one. Okay. I switched that. Let me see. There. This group. Why is it? Oh, it's running over. There. The Frog Prince and his knitting community, orphans. It's an interesting. There's a lot of backstory to that one. We used to be on the Knit Picks. Used to have a discussion board, and we all met there. And when they closed the boards down, we created a group in here so we can continue to talk with each other, chat. So feel free to join this group, ask questions. If I can't help you, I know they can. It's a great group of ladies, very helpful. But otherwise, I could always try to look things up too and try and show you in the stream. So I hope that helps you out. The Frog Prince and his knitting community. There you go. Okay. Well, hope to see you next Sunday. And I'm going to log off for now. Thank you for watching and chatting with me today. I appreciate it. Have a good week. Bye.